Hey, what's up? You're listening to the All In Network podcast. My name's Dan McCabe. We are on day 31 of 90. And today we get into the skills section of the network marketing business. And the first skill that we are going to talk about is presenting and the 3 keys to building, crafting, presenting that you need to know if you want to have good, effective presentations and close more sales. Let's go. Hey, what's up, everybody? Dan here. And, as much as I love the first third of All In for 90, where we're just building that belief system up, and I get to talk about the industry of network marketing, I get to talk about all the fun things that there are, and I get hyper analytical, while at the same time bringing it back to an emotional level that really is what drives our belief systems. Geeks like me, we like this second third as well, the second third of All In for 90, which is about the skills. I love learning new things. I love stretching myself into different areas of the business that are harder for me, or things that I'm maybe not comfortable with at first, so I can get better at them. And today we just jump right into it and we start talking about presenting. There's a lot you can get away with when you're brand new at network marketing, leaning on your upline, and you can get to, mid ranks in your company just leaning on videos in your upline. But at some point, the big leaders in your network marketing business are going to be the people that do the presenting. And at some point, you're going to do that as well. And it's a skill that eventually you need to create. And I encourage people to do it early. That's why we put it as the first day during the skills section of All In for 90 is learning how to present and doing more presentations. So, that's one of the biggest things you can do, right? Is do more presentations. The more you do, the better you're going to get. That's 100% true. But there's some big flaws actually within a lot of network marketing presentations. And you've probably seen presentations you thought were pretty good, but you already loved your thing, whatever it is. So you see somebody present on your thing, and because you already like it, it's an easy thing to be like, wow, that's a great presentation. But think back to when you first learned about your thing. Would that have grabbed you? Would that have grabbed you before you fully understood the product? That is one huge issue a lot of us have. Myself being one of the biggest offenders of this particular thing is that I go and I learn so much. I learn too much. I learn to the point where when I go present, people don't know what I'm saying because I learned too many things, and I learned to speak the language of the product or of network marketing. And I forget what it's like to be hearing about all this for the first time and what really got me excited the first time. So think about that. Think about what got you originally excited and start simplifying your presentations down to that one thing, that thing that got you excited. It was probably a result more than anything. It probably had nothing to do with the logistics of how the comp plan worked. It probably had nothing to do with the science behind the supplements that you're selling. It probably had nothing to do, with, how they are able to get this membership cheaper so you have extra buying power and this and that. It probably had to do with some kind of result. So a lot of times that's going to be how you start out your presentation, and what you're going to continuously hit throughout the presentation is reminding people and telling people the result they can have if they work with you. So we're going to focus on that. But if you look in the workbook here for the first day I'm presenting, the other thing that we talk about is kind of the 3 components of a presentation, which also get lost in most network marketing presentations. People that write them, they do a good job. They try hard. They just were never taught in the ways of writing a formal presentation that is designed to sell. A lot of people are great at presenting things, telling stories, and giving presentations that you would give in a corporate work environment, but very few people have actually taken the time to learn how to present in a way that sells. And there's a few major components that you need to have. The first one being your hook. Somewhere in the beginning, somewhere in the first 10 minutes, you need to hook them in so they are engaged and want to listen to your entire presentation. And then you need to offer a story, some kind of story about your product, about what it can do, about the results that it can give. Maybe you go into some of your slides at that point, and then you have to make an offer. It's really that simple. Hook, story, offer. Hook, story, offer. And you just do that over and over again. Now, you can look at that as in a broad sense. In a half-hour presentation, you could break that up into 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 10 minutes. a lot of times what I will do is I will, get a hook, tell a story, make an offer. But sometimes my offer isn't necessarily, hey, buy my thing. Sometimes I'm giving a hook so I can tell a story so I can make an offer, but that offer is going to be coming later. And then I'm going to give another hook, another story, another offer. During a 30-minute presentation, I might have 3 different hook story offers that I go through. So you can decide how it works best for you. But I want you to think about creating consistent hooks within your presentation, having good, compelling stories that you've said so many times, they roll off the tongue really, really easily. And then finally, making sure that you take your time and you give a proper offer pitch. It's okay if an offer pitch takes 10, 15 minutes. It's okay that if you walk through that and you really help them understand what they're going to get and you spend that much time on it. I remember doing a presentation once. We had a huge room for us back then. It was like 2010. And we were still kind of stumbling along with this new product that we were selling. And we had a room of like 150 people. It was a great room. And my partner decided he was going to take that presentation. I think I just did like the intro and now, brought him up and edified him and did kind of the basic stuff at the beginning. But my partner was a tremendous public speaker, like really, really good, really engaging, great stories. Problem was he could talk forever. He had 1 hour on stage. We got to literally the 59th minute. And me and the promoter of the event, we're both like looking at our watches and like looking at him and like pointing, like holding up signs like, make the offer, because he hadn't made the offer yet. And then finally you get to the very end, and this is what a lot of network marketers I still see do, is they kind of get through their stuff, but they feel shy about making the offer, which I think was kind of his problem anyways. And at the very end, they're like, oh, and if you want to buy this, just like come see me or whatever. It's like this much money, no big deal, if you want. And it gets forgotten, but it's important. We're there. We spent our time learning how to do this, learning how to give the presentation, filling the room and getting to that spot, getting that presentation in front of the person because we want to sell them something. So make the offer. Make sure you spend time on that. So hook story offer, a few things, that you need to really work on. And I don't know, I've got all kinds. One of them I have, and if you ever see me present, you've probably seen me do this story. I flash a picture up early on in the presentation about me sitting on a camel on the Great Wall of China, which is a true story. And then later I go into that story as well, but it's a hook because people are immediately compelled to like, why is Dan sitting on a camel on the Great Wall of China? And so I've got their attention, and then I talk for a little while, and then I come back around. I tell the story about when I was on the Great Wall of China with my grandmother and the memories we created and why I do this business now and part of that. And whatever your story is, I like to do things around memories, memorable moments, things that are compelling that I've done. But then I don't just make it about me. Then I make it about them as well. And sometimes in presentations, I would even say like, all right, now let's take a break here, just like a 15-second break, and I'm going to get you to just stop, and we're going to be silent, and I want you to think about one time you did something that you can still remember every detail of, and not something that just happened last week, something that happened like 10 years ago, and they think about it, and you're doing it right now, right? You're listening to this podcast, and you stop and you think about, yeah, I did such and such. It was amazing. I can remember exactly where I was. I can remember the color of the car we were driving. I can remember who I was with. I can remember how the entire day went. I can remember how it made me feel. I can remember that stinky smell when I walked by that bush or whatever it was. And you can remember it in very clear detail. And I give people time to think about that. And then I say, when I went and took that trip to China with my grandmother and I did that, I remember just about every single day of that trip. But if you ask me what I did 2 weeks before, 2 weeks after, I can't remember a thing. And I asked them to think about their memory, and I'm like, all right, what did you do 2 weeks before your thing? What did you do 2 weeks after? And they go through that same cycle of emotions. So when you're up there and you're presenting, I'm going way too deeper and like different, like in-depth presenting stuff than I normally do in these things. But get your hook down, get a story down, but then spend time on your offer. And if you believe in what you're offering them and what you're presenting, the right people will raise their hand, the right people will show up. You don't have to be the best presenter in the world. You need to be the presenter that cares and tries, and they'll show up. So, all right. Anyways, yeah, I had a lot of fun earlier talking to some other people about this exact same concept. I do enjoy it. I love the skills. I love the science behind all of this. It geeks me out. It builds my belief system. It makes it that much easier for me to go out there and sell and make offers. So looking forward to seeing what some of you guys do with it as well. Feel free to always hit me up over on LinkedIn in the direct messages, or any of the other social media channels, or jump on over to allinnetworker.com and grab some of those free trainings. All right, appreciate you guys as always, and until tomorrow, I will talk to you then. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.